October 25th, 1979. 5 days before Halloween. At a private military academy in Miami, Florida, hundreds of teenagers would begin screaming. Some claimed they could see demons. Others said Satan himself had entered the school. Students ripped doors from their hinges. Windows shattered. Teachers fled. Police officers fought to restrain children who witnesses claimed possessed impossible strength. By sunset, one question echoed across South Florida. What happened inside Miami Aerospace Academy? For decades, believers have called it one of the largest mass demonic possession cases in American history. Others simply remember it as the OUIJA riot. Tonight, we step inside. Miami Aerospace Academy was unlike an ordinary high school. Located in Miami's Little Havana neighborhood, it operated as a strict military academy. Uniforms, marching, discipline. Many students came from Cuban exile families hoping structure would keep their children on the right path. The school's larger-than-life founder was a man named Evaristo Marina. Students knew him by another name, El General. To some, he was a respected educator. To others, a man who ruled the academy almost like a dictator. Years later, former students would describe an atmosphere of constant pressure, fear, and punishment. But in October of 1979, those weren't the rumors spreading through the hallways. The whispers were much stranger. Students talked about Ouija boards, tarot cards, hypnosis, black magic, and teachers who supposedly introduced some of the ideas during classroom demonstrations. Whether every rumor was true hardly mattered. Once again, people believe something strange is happening. The atmosphere changes. Every dark hallway suddenly feels darker. Every strange noise becomes evidence. Every coincidence feels like an omen. And Miami Aerospace Academy was becoming saturated with whispers. According to multiple accounts, the day began normally. Classes were underway. Students moved from room to room. Nothing suggested that within hours, the campus would descend into absolute chaos. Then, one student reportedly began screaming. Another collapsed. Others claimed they saw horrifying figures. Some shouted that demons surrounded them. Within minutes, panic spread through the building. Students burst from classrooms. Some cried uncontrollably. Others laughed hysterically. Witnesses later described students throwing furniture, breaking windows, tearing doors from their frames. The academy became a battlefield. Teachers lost control almost immediately. Calls flooded emergency dispatch. Police raced toward the school expecting a riot. What they encountered was something many would never forget. Officers arriving at Miami Aerospace Academy found terrified students running in every direction. Some fought anyone who approached. Some claimed invisible forces were chasing them. Others screamed a religious prayer. One report described students crying, "The devil is here." Witnesses later claimed a few students displayed extraordinary strength while officers attempted to restrain them. Whether that strength came from pure adrenaline, panic, or something more sinister, became part of the legend. Firefighters also responded. Ambulances arrived. Parents rushed to the campus. No one seemed to have a clear explanation. It was simply mayhem. The newspapers quickly gave the event a name that sounded ripped from a horror novel: the OUIJA Riot. Then came the stories. Stories that transformed an already bizarre school disturbance into paranormal legend. Former students would later describe classmates speaking in strange voices. Some claimed they saw children staring blankly before erupting into violent fits. Others insisted students somehow knew things they couldn't possibly know. One of the most dramatic stories tells of a young girl who allegedly levitated. It's the detail most often repeated whenever the Miami Aerospace Academy incident is discussed. Like many paranormal stories, eyewitness descriptions vary dramatically. Some insist it happened. Others never saw anything like it. But once the story entered the legend, it never left. Another claim described students speaking with terrifying confidence that Satan himself had taken control of the school. Whether these were frightened teenagers repeating rumors, or genuine encounters with something unexplained, depends entirely on who you ask. As police searched for answers, attention turned toward everything that had happened in the days leading up to the riot. Students had reportedly been discussing the occult. Some accounts mentioned hypnosis demonstrations. Others claimed Ouija sessions had become popular among students. Still, others whispered about teachers with an unusual fascination for supernatural subjects. Suddenly, every rumor became potential evidence. Every odd conversation became suspicious. Every unexplained incident gained new significance. People searched desperately for the first domino, because if they could explain how it started, maybe they could explain everything that followed. But no single explanation satisfied everyone. Years passed. Students graduated. Teachers moved on. The academy itself eventually closed. Yet the events of October 25th remained frozen in time. Former students continued sharing memories. Some insisted something evil truly entered the school. Others believed they had witnessed mass panic unlike anything before or since. Television documentaries revisited the mystery. Podcasts debated every detail. Paranormal investigators called it one of America's forgotten hauntings. Skeptics pointed toward psychology. Believers pointed toward evil. Neither side managed to erase the other. More than 4 decades later, the argument continues. Perhaps that's why this case remains so fascinating. Unlike many ghost stories, there was no abandoned mansion, no lonely cemetery, no ancient castle, just a school filled with ordinary teenagers on an ordinary Thursday morning, until something extraordinary happened. Whether that something came from frightened minds or from a darkness no one could explain depends on where you draw the line between psychology and the paranormal. Because whatever occurred inside Miami Aerospace Academy, hundreds of people witnessed the aftermath. Police were there, firefighters were there, teachers were there, students were there. The panic itself was undeniably real. Only its cause remains hidden, like a locked classroom whose lights went out decades ago, leaving behind only frightened memories, broken glass, and a question that still echoes through one of Florida's strangest mysteries. What really happened inside the Devil's Academy?